Bella Terra. So we've had our HOA meeting, and we got feedback on a couple things from the Rassekh Park. One was that the blackberries from the park continuously encroach into the Homeowners Association common area. So is there something that can be done for a better plan to prevent the blackberries from encroaching? But maybe more importantly is what are the plans for the park? When we met at our HOA meeting, we talked about the fact that there were no plans, and some of the residents pointed out that there was actually, they thought, drug use and drinking occurring in the park. So I decided to go check it out, and I'd like to share with you what we see happening in the park today. So thank you, and let's take a look at the park. Thank you. This is our top of the subdivision common area, which is kept meticulous, and we're walking down to where the street ends, where Rassekh Park is, Claire and Ridge Point Drive, and we're walking down to where Ridge Point Drive ends. You see the road closed sign. There's our 40,000 square foot stormwater treatment area, and then just on the other side of the road closed sign is the Rassekh Park, and so we're going down there to see it. Okay. So now we're at the corner of Bella Terra and Ridge Point Drive, and the homeowners along here were actually contacting me and saying they're seeing strange activities in the back there, and then also they were asking what things can we do to our common area to try to keep out maybe some of the activities, some of the unwanted activities that are occurring back there. So again, my message to them was more, let's work with the city to find out what the solution is and what the plans are for Rassekh Park before we go maybe altering our common area by, taking out trees, removing hiding places, those type of things. But let's walk back and see. Our HOA Stormwater Treatment Center, which is over 40,000 square feet, and the back there that I'm pointing at right now, that actually abuts Rassekh Park. But you can see that the Homeowners Association maintains very, very well the entire 40,000 square foot area for the stormwater section. And so again, that's like 3 lots wide going straight through there. But the concerns are coming from back here. So you can see one of the challenges that the homeowners were saying is when you go back onto park property, you start to see where it's just overgrown, and the blackberries continuously try to feed into our stormwater area, which is invasive, of course, and creates all kinds of problems. And then right here you can see the park boundary. But this is what it looks like from the park area. Let's go inside and take a look and see what some of the other concerns are that residents are expressing. One thing to note is that one thing that triggered our activities and we called the police was the fact that often we'd see cars parked down here, and as you can see, there's nothing here except for maybe the fields on the other side. But we noticed that there was nobody on the fields, Lake Ridge fields over on that side, but yet there was people that were going back in here. So cars parking down here at the road closed, and then also some trash that was being left. So I guess before we go in, let's take a look at some of the trash. And the concern was that people had seen drug use, they had seen inhaling of various substances, and then also drinking. So maybe we can walk over and actually see some of the trash that's being left here and see if that might signify that, again, there's not so great activities going on. So when I look at some of the trash here, you can actually see this is cleaning wax. So there's not too many cars that are down here at the end polishing their cars. What they are doing is indeed inhaling. And the cleaning wax is definitely on a list of inhalants that people are doing. And we've heard kind of the gagging and the coughing in the woods that sounds like nothing you've ever heard before. So there is a concern that it looks like inhaling of some sort is going on back here. But let's take a deeper look. That actually people like to use for connectivity over to Azalea Field. So again, you can see It's a little bit overgrown here with the blackberries. So the next thing that we spot is that a tree has actually fallen over on the path that connects from the end of Bellaterra towards Rassekh and Stafford Road. And that's been there for some time. It's not being maintained. And this is the Three Seas Church parking lot. We also see cars that park right here on the end. And then as you can see, there's a path into Rassekh Park, which is overgrown. And again, the question is, well, what's going on? So let's go inside Rassekh Park. So we follow kind of a footpath that is here, and we'll go somewhat far back in. But maybe one of the interesting things to note is another thing that's going on with the park that residents have asked about, is that you can see that there's actually dirt that's been stored here. This came from the Woluga East project. So when the new turf fields were built for Woluga East, the dirt was stored here with the intention, I believe, that it would go over to Iron Mountain Park. But it's been here for some while, and there's been no plans to have that removed. So it's kind of disappointing to the residents that, you know, the only park that we have here is not maintained. Trees are falling down. We have you know, dirt being stored on it. It's a storage unit with no plans to get removed. But let's continue back in and see some of the more concerning parts about what's going on as you get deeper into the park. So we're going from north to south towards the south end of the park, and on the west side is the side that runs parallel to the Bellaterra HOA stormwater area. So walking in, again, you can see more trees down. The storage, there's kind of no maintenance. It just goes overgrown. But let's continue to walk into the park here. And this was the first encounter where right down here we observed 3 males. The homeowners that butt up against this observed 3 males who were coughing and seemed to have some type of breathing issue. And again, the first thing that came to mind was, you know, inhalants. So again, if we go in here, we can actually see that there's been some sort of hideout that's been built back here. And you'll see some trash. So here's what we have laying back here. If you see what this is basically, it's marijuana that's being smoked in the hideout. So it says Applegate Valley, sorry, it's going out of focus a little bit, Oregon, usable marijuana, 15.9% THC, and it says harvested 11/1/2018. So again, this is pretty recent. And here's the hideout. Now, we believe this to be true, as a sign has been left here that says we have to remove this hangout by July 8th, sorry. And then there's Lake Oswego police officer's card, Russell Palmieri, sorry, excuse me. So we believe this may be true because, again, we did call the police to report this type of activity that's occurring back here. So the sign was here. It looks like the police left their card. And then what we noticed was, since we maintain our stormwater area, well, the same individuals have shifted where they're spending their time in the park to an area that's actually closer to the HOA stormwater area, and that's equally concerning. Yesterday, we actually had to call the police because there was 3 individuals in there that appeared to be kind of lounging in the woods, and their activities were unclear, but they looked highly suspicious. It didn't look like they were up to anything good. So let's take a look at that. We're back where the trees are at and where the large amounts of the Beluga East dirt have been stored, and just wanted to point out other trash that we see. So you know, in addition to inhalants, marijuana, this is the type of trash that we see back here. So here's a 42-ounce Old English 800 malt liquor bottle. So, you know, drinking in the woods, hanging in the hangouts, you know, then tossing them out as they're walking back out is, you know, not unusual, kind of the type of activity that concerns us, and this is what we're seeing. So, again, let's continue on. We're going to go over to the HOA area where the activities have moved to since the police officer left kind of the sign that the hangout needed to be broken down. So we're back out at the end of the Sienna Drive where the road closed is at, and where we saw the inhalants. Yesterday we saw a car parked down here. Again, they weren't using the fields. It appeared that they had went back in here, but when I went into that hideout that we just looked at, we couldn't find them. So I'm like, well, let's walk across our HOA stormwater area and just walk across there and see if we see anything. So I'll walk back there. So we're walking into the HOA 40,000 square foot stormwater, which we actually have a pedestrian path, walking path that actually cuts through our stormwater area, and that's where we're going. And so yesterday when we were in here, we actually saw similar individuals to the ones that we saw in the hideout. We're actually back in our right on our outskirts of our HOA. Again, this is all HOA property that you can see we're maintaining and fighting the blackberries, but still very well maintained. Now we'll cross out of the HOA area and back into Rassekh Park. You can see another kind of trail that's been carved out with some sort of flags. And now what has appeared since the police put the cards and we're going to take it out is some lounge chairs have been relocated into Rassekh Park, and the activity that was happening has moved over here. So you see food, you see burn marks where there appears to be some type of burning activity going on, but where this patio furniture came from and the new hangout that's here, we're not sure. This wasn't here a week ago. After the police officer put the boards, all of a sudden now we see lawn furniture here, which is a good chance it may be stolen. Has been relocated here, just over our border into the Rassekh Park property. And again, just on the other side of the creek here is the HOA common area. So now, since the common area has been maintained, it provides easy access to come into the middle of our maintained stormwater area, cross over into Rassekh Park, and then all the activities that they want to do can be done inside here in Rassekh Park. So, thank you. I guess what the ask of the Homeowners Association is can we have a plan to basically maintain the park, and then a plan that may be simple but would kind of discourage illicit activities like what we see occurring now inside of the park. So maybe walking trails, something simple, or a fully developed plan. But clearly we asked for Rassekh Park to be prioritized in terms of maintenance, And then, you know, we would very much like to work on a joint plan for that. The whole Palisades Neighborhood Association, as well as the City of Lake Oswego and the Bellaterra HOA. Thank you.